Barbenheimer is dominating the theaters. Aquaman is struggling with Batman, and the Meg franchise with Jason Statham is picking up pace. That and much more awaits you in the latest KinoCheck news. Stay tuned. Oppenheimer vs. Barbie. The battle begins. For months, the world has been waiting for the simultaneous release of these two opposing films last Friday, the birth of the Barbenheimer phenomenon. On the one hand, there's the historical drama Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan. 3 hours long, powerful images, partly in black and white, and an enormous cast of character actors around lead actor Cillian Murphy. On the other hand, the brightly colorful, ironically funny plastic adventure Barbie by Greta Gerwig starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. Two movies that couldn't be any more different, so why are they lumped together? Kevin Kodama from MovieWeb.com explains the Barbenheimer phenomenon as follows. Here, the beef, known from hip-hop, comes into play. People love it when two rivals compete against each other, be it rappers, politicians, or Johnny Depp against Amber Heard. You can compare them, discuss wildly about who's better, and, last but not least, contribute to the success of your favorite using your own wallet. Oppenheimer and Barbie are particularly suitable for a fight, since they represent completely different things. Gerwig's movie comes across as particularly feminine, modern, and commercial. On the one hand, it's packed with cliches, while on the other, it's loving and has a positive message. Nolan's biopic, set against the background of World War II, however, is shot in an old-fashioned way and stands for traditional, vintage, and masculine cinema. Oppenheimer was primarily released by Universal Pictures because Nolan's long-standing partnership with Warner Brothers had previously fallen apart. The main cause was that they released his film Tenet against his will in streaming at the same time as its theatrical release. Rumors spread that Warner Brothers was taking revenge by releasing its pink Barbie toy movie on the same day as Oppenheimer, the ideal scenario for some proper beef. After all, hardly anyone is taking the dispute between the two movies all that seriously. The fans have shown a sense of humor and produced countless memes and fan trailers. The actors and directors are posing with movie tickets for both films, and even the studios will be pleased that Barbenheimer has boosted sales. So, a happy ending for all involved. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Or not. At least it currently looks like Disney will give the companions of the beautiful princess a proper makeover in the upcoming remake. Last week, leaked pictures from the Daily Mail did the rounds. They originate from the film set of the Snow White remake and show a double of the main character as well as her 7 companions. A rather diverse group of actors of all body sizes, skin colors, and genders can be spotted. There is no real sign of classic dwarves, which is Disney's response to the harsh criticism from Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage, among others, who described a classic portrayal as being very backwards. Film journalist Daniel Rickman also recently commented on the leak of the images, and even announced that Disney will completely abandon the term dwarf in the film. Instead, there is talk of fantastic beings, which definitely fits the colorful group in the pictures. There will certainly be some more debate about the Snow White remake, in which West Side Story star Rachel Zegler takes on the lead role. We are eager to find out how progressive the story will actually be in the end and are looking forward to more news. Snow White will be released in theaters on March 22, 2024. That's it for Batman. According to the latest reports, Ben Affleck has been cut from Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, again, marking the latest chapter in an endless drama surrounding the new DC movie. Actually, things were looking pretty good. 2018's Aquaman is one of the most successful DC adaptations ever, and lead actor Jason Momoa is a veritable fan favorite. So what could possibly go wrong with Aquaman 2? As it turns out, quite a few things, and the production itself is hardly to blame. At first, co-star Amber Heard was a cause for concern, as most people are completely down on her after the mess she got into with her ex-husband Johnny Depp. To this day, it's not entirely sure how big her role in the new Aquaman movie will be. What came next was the end of the familiar DCEU and the plans for the new DCU. Release dates were changed repeatedly, while the mega flop The Flash was supposed to be the transition to the new universe. In this context, there were several reshoots for Aquaman 2. At one point, Michael Keaton was supposed to make an appearance as Batman, then Ben Affleck, and sometimes both. As The Hollywood Reporter informs, the current presence of Ben Affleck is now out of the question. Following the meanwhile third round of reshooting, the movie is now said to be entirely Batman-free. The reason for this is, among other things, that DC bosses James Gunn and Peter Safran want to let the movies stand on their own for now, without creating dozens of connections, a mistake that was made with the DCEU right from the start. The test screenings of the previous versions of Aquaman 2 turned out to be very mixed. At times the reactions were quite positive, at other times the sequel was a total failure. One thing is certain, the final version is unlikely to have much in common with the original one. Whether the long ordeal was worth it will be revealed once the movie hits theaters on December 20th, 2023. One giant shark is not enough. In Meg 2: The Trench, we can look forward to tons of sea monsters. Not only was there new images to see, but the director also talked about the future of the film series. It all started in 2018 with the surprise hit Meg, directed by John Turteltaub. The action blockbuster with Jason Statham grossed an impressive $527 million on a budget of $130 million. So it's hardly surprising that they wanted to add to it. Director Ben Wheatley, who has already demonstrated his talent for particularly vicious films with Kill List, High Rise, and Free Fire, took on the task of directing the sequel. In an interview with Total Film magazine, he talked about his further ambitions. Meg 3 is absolutely on his bucket list. He believes there is still a lot to explore in this franchise. He was especially excited by the international nature of the movie series. Here, people from the most diverse parts of the world gather to face a problem together, which is a fantastic message for the audience. However, the viewers are sure to want to see one thing above all else: gigantic monsters in action. In Meg 2, Jason Statham, alias Jonas Taylor, and his research team head for the unknown depths of the ocean, where they clash with a ruthless company in search of raw materials. But the bigger problem is soon to come, as a multitude of monsters are set loose, which then head for the surface and the tourists there. The level of excitement for Meg 2 has already risen considerably since the first trailer. New posters now make us want to see the fun monster movie even more. On one of them, not only do we see that Jonas and the others have to deal with several Megs at once, but there's also gigantic tentacles reaching into the picture. The Chinese poster, however, is really fancy and presents the film in a very unique style. We can't wait for the release of Meg 2: The Trench on August 4th, 2023. Should the movie be able to match the success of its predecessor, a Meg 3 seems highly likely. After all, the original book series by author Steve Alten consists of a total of 8 volumes. Fans of Stephen King are about to get new entertainment. After the 2019 remake of Pet Semetary, the prequel Pet Semetary Bloodlines is to follow. The first images should now whet the appetite for the freshly announced release date. Bloodlines is supposed to take place several decades before Pet Semetary, and is based on an unpublished chapter from Stephen King's novel. It tells the story of young Judd Crandall, whom we met in the first movie as the Creed's family neighbor. In 1969, he wants nothing more than to leave his hometown. However, he and his friends must confront an ancient evil and dark family secret that tie him to the small town forever. The newly released images and poster already give an insight into the atmosphere that awaits us in the prequel. The starring role of Judd Crandall will be played by ambulance actor Jackson White. The cast also includes Jackie Brown star Pam Grier and the X-Files actor David Duchovny. Lindsay Beer, who is currently working on Star Trek IV and a live-action adaptation of Disney's Bambi, directed the movie for the first time. Pet Semetary Bloodlines will hit Paramount Plus in the US on October 6, 2023. $30 million down the drain. Netflix is calling it quits and abandoning its live-action adaptation of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. The future of the project is uncertain. It's quite sad. Mattel's famous Toy World has been in planning for a remake since 2007. In the meantime, Warner Brothers and Sony came on board and a number of directors were in talks. The project eventually ended up at Netflix. The directors were to be Adam and Aaron Nee, who most recently brought The Lost City with Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock to the cinema. The leading actor of He-Man had also already been found in Kyle Allen. Pre-production began and a total of $30 million was spent. Turns out it was too expensive for Netflix. As Variety reports, the streaming giant is now scrapping everything. The total cost of the production was last estimated to be around $200 million, but Netflix was willing to provide a maximum of $150 million, including pre-production. It is unclear, however, whether this is the ultimate end for the movie. Rights holder Mattel still wants to see its cult classic filmed and is now looking for new backers. With the currently popular Barbie movie, the chances of this happening are likely not that bad. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe was a huge hit for the toy manufacturer Mattel in the 80s, and was followed by animated series and a feature film, which, by the way, bankrupted the movie distributor Canon Films at the time. So, which team do you guys belong to? Are you Team Barbie, Team Oppenheimer, or simply both? Should you be looking for alternatives, please have a look at our preview of the new Deadpool movie on our channel. Feel free to share your opinions and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and see you next week for more KinoCheck news.